There's a lot of travel advice out there. Some of it is great, and some sounds good on paper, but completely falls apart in the real world. As someone who's been traveling for 20 plus years and a former full-time traveler, I have tried so many of these tips. I have made a ton of my own mistakes, and I've learned several things that actually work. So today, you're getting a no-nonsense, rapid-fire list of 200 travel tips smart travelers actually use. Tips that are gonna help you save money, pack better, fly smarter, stay safe, and avoid costly mistakes. Starting with how to actually save money on travel, and some common bad advice you should ignore. Now, a commonly suggested tip is that searching for flights on Tuesdays or searching with incognito mode is gonna help you get better flight deals, but this is complete nonsense. What can work sometimes is searching for flights using a VPN, but the key is to change your location so it looks like you're buying from somewhere else. Not a silver bullet by any means, but it can work. Generally, being flexible with your destination and dates can help you score much better deals. Traveling during off-season or shoulder season is a great way to save on flights and hotels and avoid crowds. You could set fare alerts on Google Flights or Hopper to catch flight price drops on specific routes. Or you could sign up for services like Daily Drop Pro to have all the best flight deals emailed straight to you. While third-party booking sites like Priceline or Expedia look like they're saving you money, they're often laden with additional fees, crappy customer service, and in general, they make it very hard to change your booking if something goes wrong. Book direct whenever possible. Hotel and airline loyalty programs are free to join, and most of them come with perks like free Wi-Fi. So at a minimum, sign up for the program of every airline or hotel that you travel with to start racking up points. Using points and miles earned from traveling or through travel credit cards is a great way to save money on flights and hotels. So put all your trip expenses on a travel rewards card to keep earning points for future travel. Check if that credit card reimburses enrollment fees for travel programs like TSA PreCheck or Global Entry. Find out if your credit card includes any other travel extras like a concierge, lounge access, or rental car coverage. And opt for cards with no foreign transaction fees. It can be a good idea to notify your bank of your travel dates to avoid having your cards frozen. Always carry a mix of payment methods, a primary card, a backup, and even though more and more of the world is going cashless, some local cash. We experienced Spain and Portugal's recent power outages, and we were very thankful that we had cash on hand. If we hadn't, we wouldn't have been able to pay for our taxi or buy dinner that night. On that note, always make sure that taxis take card before your ride if you're not carrying cash. Make sure to have a mix of card types as well. For example, Amex isn't accepted everywhere abroad, so be sure to have a Visa or MasterCard as a backup. Especially in Europe, be sure to have at least a couple euros on you as many public toilets are gonna require payment. Avoid keeping money and valuables in back pockets or on your back in case of pickpockets. It's a good idea to use a front pocket wallet like this one, or to use a sling or purse on the front of your body like this one. Also not a bad idea to hide some emergency cash separately, like in a shoe or a hidden bag pocket. Avoid airport exchange counters and withdraw cash from local ATMs instead. When it comes to what ATM you use, they aren't all created equal. So when you can, opt for an ATM at a bank and don't forget to shield your PIN when you're using. If you're presented the option, always withdraw and pay in the local currency to avoid poor conversion rates and decline special offers like dynamic currency conversion. Look for student or teacher discounts to potentially save money at museums and attractions. Booking accommodations with a kitchen to make meals is a great way to help reduce your food costs. Take advantage of hotel perks like free or included breakfast to stretch your food budget. Water isn't free everywhere, so learn how to ask for tap water at restaurants if the place you're visiting has a different language. Some places might try to give you a hard time about this, but if you know the right phrase and are ridiculously polite, you can typically get free tap water. That is, if the water is safe to drink. We'll get to that later. Look up your destination's tipping culture beforehand because it can vary widely. Or download the free app Globe Tips to research while you're sitting at the restaurant. It's not always common to split the bill, so know what's customary before asking. Next up, our very best list of airport and air travel tips. Not all airplane seats are created equal, so use tools like Aerolopa or seat maps to find the best seats with extra space or even blocked middles. Avoid booking seats in the last row or near the bathroom because these ones may not recline. If you're a nervous flyer, choose a seat over the wing because it's gonna offer more stability. If you can, select seats closer to the front for quicker deplaning, especially if you have a tight connection. For me, it's even worth it to pay the extra $10 sometimes for this seat if I've got a really tight connection. If traveling with an infant, book or request bulkhead seating for more space and potentially a bassinet. If you're flying budget airlines, check baggage size enforcement rules because some are very strict. And if you're ever unsure about whether your baggage will fit or not, use the free luggage sizing tool that we made. It has data for over 160 airlines and it will instantly tell you if your bag fits or not. You can use the link below or go to willmybagfit.com to get access. Sign up for TSA PreCheck or Clear to speed through airport security lines in the USA, or Global Entry for when you're returning from an international trip. This was the regular entry line coming back to the USA in Chicago this month, and it's not even summer yet. We were so thankful that we have Global Entry. Check if your airline offers a fast pass security lane. It can be worth the fee sometimes if you have a tight connection. I recently used this on a Ryanair flight in Porto, and it literally made the difference of me actually catching that flight. When it comes to airport parking, you can use something like Park Sleep Fly to save money. It's a package deal that combines an overnight stay with cheaper parking. Always take a photo of your parking location so that you can find your car later. Always make sure to check in online 24 hours before your flight. And if you have a known traveler number, make sure that that's typed into your booking before you check in. Always download your boarding pass and also take a screenshot of it just in case the airport Wi-Fi fails. Keep prescription meds in their original bottles or at least have a copy of the script, which is important for security checkpoints. Download flight tracking apps like FlightAware or Flighty to keep track of your plane, especially if you're trying to make a tight connection. Always pack a pen for customs forms. Flight attendants might not have extras. Use lesser known security checkpoints to avoid long lines. You can check the airport's map, or if the airport has an app, you can see it there too. If you're checking a bag or checking in at an airport check-in counter, stand in the line closest to the priority check-in counter because agents will often pull the next person from there. Use mobile apps to order food and skip restaurant lines. And another great way to save money at the airport is bring your own snacks. Continually monitor flight displays for last-minute gate changes or delays, and be sure to download your airline's app and turn on notifications to be directly notified of delays and gate changes. If your flight is canceled, immediately head to the nearest customer service desk for quick rebooking. And on your way, call the airline too because you might get rebooked faster. If your itinerary has a tight connection, talk to gate agents before takeoff to possibly be let off the plane faster or so your connecting flight has a heads up. Wear compression socks to aid circulation on long flights. Airplane cabins are notoriously dry environments, so bring some chapstick and a small lotion. Download movies or shows to your device ahead of time in case there's no in-flight entertainment. Use noise-canceling headphones to block engine noise and relax. Use an eye mask to sleep better on the plane or in bright rooms. Chew gum or suck candy during takeoff and landing to reduce ear pressure. Buckle your seatbelt over your blanket so flight attendants don't wake you if you're sleeping. Airplane restrooms are busiest after meal times and right before landing. So if you want to avoid having to wait, go before the meal and drink service and well in advance of landing. Consider bringing a small treat for the crew because it could score you some perks. Now, these are my best tips for avoiding jet lag. If you've got an overnight flight, make yourself sleep on that flight over. If you have trouble sleeping on a plane, consider taking melatonin or another non-addictive sleep aid to knock yourself out. Don't drink alcohol with the plain dinner service because it's no good for sleep, but do drink coffee with the plain breakfast service, as long as it aligns with the right time to consume caffeine at your destination. And throughout this whole process, drink plenty of water. Once you arrive, if you're able to check into your hotel when you land, do not lay down. Take a shower to freshen up if you need to, but otherwise just wash your face, change your clothes, and get out of the room as quickly as possible. Get outside, spend time in the sun to reset your circadian rhythm, and move your body. And for the love of God, do not think about what time it is at home. The time is whatever time it is where you are. Hey, if you've gotten value out of this video, please hit that thumbs up button so that YouTube knows to suggest it to other travelers like you. Thanks. All right, you made it to your destination. Now let's move on to tips on local transportation and some tips for getting around. If you're on a tight budget, obviously walking is always free, but it also doubles as sightseeing. Walking is the underrated GOAT. One we just discovered is using Google Maps wheelchair accessible feature if you have mobility issues. That will guide you to the most accessible walking routes. We recently used this when pushing a stroller through hilly Lisbon, Portugal, because there's so many stairs and hills there, and it came in very handy. Know which transportation app is widely used in your location, like Uber, Lyft, Grab, Bolt, and download it before your trip. Use sites like Rome to Rio to determine the most cost-efficient way to travel between destinations. Put your lodging address in your phone in the local language to easily show drivers. Public transportation can be a great way to save money getting around. And if you're gonna use transportation like taxis or tuk-tuks, make sure to ask about prices before the ride and that the meter is running to avoid being scammed. Be quiet on public transportation because many cultures view loud conversations as rude. If you're renting a car, you can skip the rental car counter by booking on Turo. It can be faster and way more convenient. I can't tell you how many hours I've wasted standing in long lines waiting for a rental car. And that's why I am so glad I discovered Turo. Turo is the world's largest car sharing marketplace. You can rent any car you want, wherever you want it, from a community of local hosts across the US, UK, Canada, France, and Australia. And when I say any car, I mean it. You can choose from an extraordinary selection of over 1,400 makes and models, from fuel-efficient compacts to roomy SUVs and even EVs. Here's the best part. You can skip the car rental counter at hundreds of airports across the United States and coordinate with your host through the app. You can also have the car delivered to your hotel or Airbnb. It's flexible, it's fast, and it's way less hassle than a traditional rental. Click the link below to book your next trip on Turo, and big thanks to Turo for sponsoring today's video. A couple of other rental car tips. Make sure to take pictures of your rental car before leaving the lot. This can be very helpful in case you need to dispute damage later. And research local driving rules for things like roundabouts, headlights and tunnels, etc. Let's talk about tips for planning, booking, and getting the most out of your accommodations. Air conditioning is not as normal everywhere as it is in the USA, so make sure to check hotel and Airbnb listings for this amenity. Choose accommodations with free cancellation when unsure of your plans. Message Airbnb hosts to negotiate long stay discounts, even if they're not advertised. And don't be afraid to negotiate with hotels if you're not booking on one of those third-party platforms, or if you're booking in person, or even booking during off-season. Ask to make sure that your hotel room isn't by an elevator because these are typically noisier and have more foot traffic. Have your hotel or accommodations address prior to your international flight, which can be very useful in case you struggle to get data or service when you land. Write down the hotel Wi-Fi info and room number on the back of a card and take a picture so you don't have to rely on memory. Download a white noise app to use in case your accommodations are noisy, and use a towel under the hotel room or hostel door to block hallway light and noise. If you're staying in a hostel, pack flip-flops for the shared showers. Ask your Airbnb host about checkout procedures ahead of time if they're not listed in the app. Some may ask you to take out the trash or strip the beds, or honestly, like a whole laundry list of chores. It's kind of ridiculous sometimes. Do a final sweep before checkout and check all outlets, drawers, and under the bed. Smart travelers don't just wing it. So here's our go-to tips for planning a smoother, more enjoyable and more memorable trip. Check seasonal festivals or holidays in your destination that might impact closures or increase crowds. Make sure to look at what days attractions are open or closed. For example, many museums abroad are closed on Mondays. Pre-book activities and tours at popular sites as far in advance as possible. And if the main attraction website is sold out, check sites like Viator or Get Your Guide for alternative options. Sometimes you can still get a guided tour or skip the line access through a local guide. Join Facebook or local Reddit groups to get tips from people who actually live there. Read the worst reviews first because they often reveal deal breakers that some people overlook. Join free walking tours or download audio guided tours and apps like Rick Steves' Audio Europe. Ask your hotel's reception or Airbnb host for local recommendations on things to do and places to eat. Look for bundled city passes if you plan to spend multiple days sightseeing in one particular city. These often include public transportation access too, but you need to do the math because some are a good deal and some really aren't. Book a local photographer through Airbnb experiences to capture memories professionally. A great way to beat the crowds is to simply wake up early. And I would also recommend checking sunrise and sunset times daily, which is perfect for golden hour photography and early hikes. Use Google Maps' popular times feature to avoid attractions and restaurants at peak hours. I'd also recommend checking menu prices and Google reviews before sitting down in tourist-heavy areas. And you can pretty easily avoid tourist-trap restaurants and shops by just venturing a couple blocks off the main strip. Eat street food or shop at the markets, which is typically going to be more affordable and more authentic. I always recommend researching and trying the local cuisine and drinks. Cooking classes and food tours are a great way to learn a few things, experience something new, and meet new people. And you know what? It's okay to take a break or to go back to the hotel. You don't have to feel pressured to always be on the move. All right, let's talk clothing, luggage, and packing. Because what you pack and how you pack it can either really enhance your experience or make it way worse. Research how locals dress, especially if there are cultural customs to be mindful of. And be especially respectful of the dress codes when entering churches, mosques, or temples. Research the weather at your destination a couple days before packing to ensure you're packing appropriately. Don't pack shoes you haven't broken in. Comfort is key if you're going to be doing a lot of walking. Wear a silicone wedding band or a fake version if you're concerned about loss or theft. Opt for clothing that's durable and comfortable. Merino wool is great for moisture wicking and odor control. Pack clothing that's neutral and mix and match friendly. Fewer items, more outfits. Opt for things that are multi-use. One example is like a sarong, which could double as a towel, a blanket, a scarf, or a skirt. Always bring a packable rain jacket, a poncho, or a tiny umbrella, just in case. If you check a bag, make sure to pack a spare outfit, some essential toiletries, and valuables in your personal item bag in case of baggage delays or if your luggage gets lost. I always recommend people opt to carry on only whenever possible, and if you're able, to avoid lost luggage, and of course, to save time and money. If you do decide to check a bag, put a tracker like an AirTag or a tile inside to monitor its location. Add something recognizable to your checked luggage, like a ribbon or duct tape to spot it easily on the carousel. I'd recommend wearing your bulkiest item, like boots or big coats, on the plane to save space in your carry-on. Dressing in layers is a great way to stay comfortable with fluctuating temperatures. Planning to do laundry during your trip is a great way to avoid overpacking. So when searching for accommodations, always try and filter your search results for places that provide laundry. If you don't have laundry access, you could always wash a couple key items in the shower. Ask hotels to hold your bags before check-in or after checkout so you can explore freely. Or use luggage storage facilities if your accommodation won't hold your luggage. If you're the type that buys souvenirs, packing a couple of old clothing items you plan to donate or discard at the end of a trip is a great way to make sure you have enough space. If your toiletries aren't all travel sized, you can transfer liquids into small 100 milliliter reusable bottles. I would also recommend switching as many liquids for solid versions as possible. For example, lotion, deodorant, dry shampoo, etc., which will save space and simplify airport security checks. You can wrap cling film under bottle caps or double bag liquids to prevent leaks. Cover razor blades with binder clips for safety. Use silica gel packets in your electronics or your toiletry pouch to prevent moisture damage in humid climates. Rolling many clothing items instead of folding them is a great way to maximize space and minimize wrinkles. Using compression packing cubes is a great way to organize and compress your clothing. You could also use plastic Ziploc bags as packing cubes if you don't have dedicated ones. Stuff socks, undies, or small items like chargers inside the shoes you're packing to save space. You could use a shower cap or a dedicated shoe pouch to cover those shoes to prevent dirt from spreading in your luggage. And use dryer sheets in your luggage to keep clothes fresh and reduce static. Cushion fragile items inside your clothing for protection. Use a straw to keep your necklaces from tangling, and pack jewelry in a pill case or a small pouch. You can keep cords from tangling using a binder clip as well, or one of these little cord straps. Place your liquids, laptop, and electronics in an easy to access place or at the top of your bag for easy TSA removal. Take a photo of your checked bag contents, which is especially valuable in case of loss or insurance claims. All right, I call this section simple essentials that make a big difference. Make sure your passport is not within 6 months of expiring when you travel. If you're visiting multiple countries, ensure your passport has enough blank pages for stamps and visas. Instead of carrying travel guidebooks with you, you can rip out only the pages you need or download copies of that guidebook to your phone or Kindle to save space and weight. Bring a lightweight foldable tote or packable day pack for daily use and grocery runs. Keep tissues or flushable wipes in your purse or day pack for emergency situations where there's no toilet paper. Carry a reusable water bottle and fill it post-security for avoid having to pay for expensive airport bottled water. Use a carabiner clip to attach easily lost items like your water bottle or your hat to your backpack. And this is one of my favorites. Hotel gyms almost always have water dispensers, so refill your water bottle there instead of buying expensive bottled water. A little preparation goes a long way. So here's how we stay healthy, safe, and one step ahead when we're on the road. Check vaccinations are up to date if there are any that are recommended or required for your destination. Learn what scams are common for the place that you're visiting prior to arriving. If you have food restrictions or allergies, have these in a quick access note on your phone or on a note card in your wallet in the native language of your destination. Carry both digital and physical copies of any important documents. Scan and upload your passport, ID, insurance, and itineraries to cloud storage. And I would recommend saving local emergency phone numbers. Keep copies of your travel insurance and your credit card emergency phone numbers offline too. Pack a small container of electrolytes, which is helpful for staying hydrated on travel days. Bring a portable door lock for extra safety in budget accommodations. Use purified or bottled water in areas where tap water isn't safe. And if you're in one of those areas, I would also avoid ice in your drink unless you're sure of the water source. Avoid telling new acquaintances where you're staying. Stick to public, well-lit areas at night, especially when traveling solo. Walk confidently and avoid pausing near hawkers to limit being approached. Don't let anyone on the street put a bracelet or a trinket on you or hand you a flower or whatever, because they're gonna demand money afterwards. Never leave your drink unattended in bars or at events. If you're sleeping in a public space like a train or in an airport, you can loop your arm or your leg through a strap of your bag to avoid having it stolen. Avoid withdrawing cash from ATMs at night for safety. Never post live location tags on social media until after you've left the spot. But do share your location on your phone with someone back home or in your group who can check in on you. I would argue this is especially important for solo travelers. And stay alert in crowded areas and be wary of distraction-based scams. From communicating with hosts to GPS navigation to staying connected with people back home, our phones are basically mission control when we travel, and then there's so many other helpful tools and travel tech items that can help make travel easier. So here are my top tips on tech and apps. Of course, download essential travel apps ahead of time. We talked about rideshare apps earlier, but also navigation tools, translation apps, things like that. Use the mobile passport control app for faster US customs clearance. Organize travel plans with apps like TripIt or Google Trips. Download offline maps to navigate without Wi-Fi or needing to use data. Save starred locations in Google Maps for offline navigation. Download the destination language in Google Translate before your trip. Use the camera feature in Google Translate to read foreign signs and menus, one of my absolute favorite things. Use a currency calculator. There's one built into the iPhone. There's a lot of other great options for Android as well, and this is just gonna help you avoid mental math mishaps. Use an eSIM for cheaper, easier mobile data abroad. You can easily find free Wi-Fi spots using apps like Wi-Fi Map. Use WhatsApp or Messenger to call and text over Wi-Fi for free. Enable device finding tools like Find My iPhone or the Android equivalent. Bring a high capacity power bank to keep devices charged on the go. If where you're going uses a different type of plug, make sure to pack an adapter. We recommend using a universal power adapter that's just gonna work in basically every destination you visit. Bring a voltage converter if your electronics aren't dual voltage, and use a USB data blocker when charging in public to prevent juice jacking. Mark your hotel on Google Maps to easily find your way back. Put your phone on low power mode and close out apps to conserve battery. When I'm traveling, I basically put my phone on low power mode the moment I wake up. Use your phone's burst mode or turn on live photos for better action or candid shots. These next tips aren't about saving money or packing better. They're about being the kind of traveler locals are glad to welcome. Always ask permission before taking pictures of locals. Avoid hand gestures unless you know they're culturally acceptable, because some are offensive abroad. Accept that your way isn't the only way. And remember, you're a guest in the place you're visiting, and unless you're literally in a theme park, this is someone else's home. So be humble, be kind, and be respectful. 200. That was a lot. If you made it this far, I would argue you are officially more prepared than like 90% of travelers. But if you want to go even deeper, check out this video here. It's a breakdown of the travel gear we actually recommend people spend their money on, and the stuff that you can probably just skip. Thanks so much for watching. Happy travels.